Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to my Fallout 4 Mod Spotlight series, where today we are having a look at the Skewer Launcher mod, which is being made by user Degenerate Dak. And what this glorious little piece of work looks to add into the game is a absolutely wonderful new makeshift weapon in the form of the Skewer Launcher. And I have been having a whole lot of fun with this thing, and it makes for an interesting alternative to the harpoon gun. Now, this is meant to be a heavy weapon using harpoons, and for me, I kind of never liked the harpoon gun in the game. It just seemed, to me at least, out of place. But a makeshift skewer launcher for said harpoons? That makes entirely too much sense for me in the Fallout world. So let's jump on over here and have a look at what we do get with the Skewer Launcher, which in its most basic form will deal a whopping 200 damage with said harpoons, with a firing rate of 2, range of 203, accuracy of 65, and a weight of 20.5. So pretty hefty thing there, but you know, it is a heavy weapon, and as you can see on this thing, it is a pretty darn good looking. I quite like the look of the modeling and texturing on this. It does look like something thrown together to properly launch harpoon guns, rather than just an old-timey harpoon gun, and it looks magnificent. It is, of course, very slow, but I mean, harpoon gun, and does not have a whole lot of different modifications to it, but the ones it does have are actually pretty nice and do change up the weapon a bit for more weapon, or damage types rather, as well as, you know, just some fun little attachments and even a few additional sights. I honestly would like to see a few more things in here, but all in all, it's not too bad. Now, as for how you do get your hands on one of these lovely things, well, it's actually rather quite simple, but before I mention how, well, there are some requirements, specifically Far Harbor. You are going to need the Far Harbor DLC because, of course, it's a harpoon gun. You need harpoons in the game, and that's added by that DLC. Now, with that and the mod installed, you'll start seeing these things spawning in the world at level 15 on pretty much everything. They'll be in vendors, on raider bosses, gunner bosses, super mutants, and even the occasional Minutemen. Pretty much everyone in the Commonwealth you could potentially find one of these things on. So, yeah, possibly a slightly overpowered weapon to start seeing at level 15, but you know what? It's still fun. Plus, I mean, getting harpoons is a little bit difficult at that point before, you know, going to Far Harbor, but, you know, so, hey, balance. Now, there are also, besides these standard ones you can find in the world, 4 unique variants that you can also find at specific locations in the Commonwealth, which is pretty darn neat. And they have some interesting effects like knockback and stuff along those lines. So very cool, a little bit of extra fun for you to go out and, you know, explore in the world. Now let's go take a look at what mods we do have for the standard weapon here at the Workbench, and start with the, well, Skewer category, which will change up what kind of harpoon you're shooting, where we have got the standard, a barbed for bleeding effect, poison tipped for, well, poisoning, flechet rounds for multiple projectiles, basically skewer shotgun, an explosive tipped one, which of course will give you the highest amount of damage there, and I mean, come on, boom, who doesn't love that? And the weirdest, but I kinda like it, stim skewer. You, will actually heal your companions when you shoot them with a harpoon, and I love the little blurb here. Heals companions, wow. Okay. And I do like that it does require Idiot Savant of rank 3 to make this, because it's just weird, it's wacky, and you know what? Fallout. Good times. Now then we have the scope category, where we've either got a no scope, an improvised iron sight, a titanium dot sight, and finally, a scope. Now, all of them are a bit ramshackle and thrown together, which fits the feel of being a makeshift weapon. Even the scope on here, the lens is kind of like painted on, which I love. And yeah, just overall pretty darn neat. And finally, we have muzzle attachments, where we can either have nothing a bayonet for bashing damage, or a shield to increase damage resistance. And honestly, I kind of like that one most for just the look of it, especially with the explosive skewers, because, well, kind of makes it look like an old-timey rocket launcher, and that is wonderful. So yeah, like I said, not a whole lot of modifications. I would love to see some other things in here, especially some other weapon or damage types, though that kind of gets solved by those unique variants. There's one in particular that actually has a plasma skewer, which is kind of cool. But yes, I would like to see a few more things in here personally, but all in all, it still makes it pretty darn useful. So let's go look at this thing in use, and also go ahead and grab my other two custom ones here for later use. And yeah, take some shots and let us fire. Oh boy, this thing's slow, but I mean, it is a harpoon gun, or rather a skewer launcher, so yeah, not exactly gonna be the thing that is the quickest in the world. But all in all, you know, good on the firing, good on the animation, and, you know, just overall works. Now, there is one slight issue. I've been zooming in to actually take some iron sight sort of shots, even though I don't have iron sights installed right now, but if I just do a hipfire shot, pay attention to just below the barrel. Yeah, the skewer kind of falls out the bottom. It will shoot, you see it go down range, but the one that you put in the barrel for the animation disappears down the bottom. Hopefully that's a simple thing that the mod maker can fix on this. I mean, this is the first release of this particular mod, so yes, hopefully we see some fixes there. But you know what? Still, it shoots out all those lovely harpoons, and as with any type of harpoon shooting, well, you can go and, you know, grab your ammo, which is always nice and lovely to have. Now let's take a look real quickly at my two custom ones. I don't think I'll fire the poison one. Well, we'll at least show off the sight on it, but I do like that, you know, the tip on the harpoon actually does change to that green for the poison damage. We got that lovely bayonet on there too, which is magnificent, and we do have that nice sort of hollow sight scope on there. Very neat indeed. And then finally we have my explosive one doing that 260 damage with a tiny little warhead. And I love that the shield on this thing is just a stop sign with a notch cut out for it for you to aim. Again, that makeshift nature is what I really love about this compared to the standard old-timey harpoon gun we get normally in the game. And of course this one fires with, you know, the fun painted-on scope, and of course, explosion. When it actually hits the target, it doesn't look too impressive, of course, unless you hit water, but it is doing 260 damage there, which ain't half bad, and it is quite accurate at a pretty decent range. So let's take a look at this thing in use against our usual Deathclaw opponent, and of course we're going to use this gun because why not? So let's pop ourselves out a Deathclaw and run away! Take this! Oh! I haven't shot a Deathclaw with this so far. I've only fought them with the poison and the standard one. I didn't expect it to just explode into pieces. Huh. Wonderful. Alright, another Deathclaw. This time we'll get nice and oh, I fell. Of course I fell. Of course I fell. Eat that! Oh my god. Yeah, this thing might be a little bit overpowered for when you get it so early in the game, but I mean, come on. Who doesn't like having a Deathclaw just explode into tiny bits? I thought it was a little bit overpowered when I was just using the normal Skewer Launcher and I was able to kill a Deathclaw in like 5 shots. That takes the cake, and it's beautiful. So, if you would like to take a look at this mod for yourself, which I would certainly recommend you go and do, you can take a look at the link in the description as per usual. But that, my friends, is gonna be it for this one today. Hopefully you have enjoyed. You do come back for the next, but until that time, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one. Oh god, I missed all my shots. I'm gonna die. Yep, we're gonna die. Later, folks. And bye-bye.